Thank you so much, and thank you, Pawan, for your very kind introduction. Uh, Not all of it was probably well deserved, but yeah, that your batchmate is undisputed. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I was going through your seminar itinerary for the last 2 days, and I was feeling a bit overawed with all the, the subjects that you've been spoken on, the metaverse and the use of AI and the blockchain technologies. Many of these things are very foreign to me. Not foreign, I would say, but yes, I don't have a very good grip on them. What I would like to talk to you about is a slightly different perspective. I have what you can say a bottoms up view of technology. Uh, if you ask, like, why do we exist? I think most of you are probably police officers. Uh, I'm not sure about the participant demography, but what do we exist for? As an ADG, what do I exist for? Or even my 8 SPs who are there, what do they exist for? We all exist so that the Thanedar can do his duty in a better way. I would say that's our only reason for existence. So whenever I think about doing something, I think, how is it going to benefit the officer investigating a case? How is it going to benefit a person? And we are all problem solvers. Fundamentally, policing, if you see, is a problem solving service. We, in our day-to-day lives, we solve problems. All of you solve problems all the time. And how can we apply technology to solve the same problems? That I feel is probably the better use of technology to solve problems. So it has to come out of a problem. And when Pawan was speaking, I think because he's my batchmate, I find there were so many things that were resonating with me. Many things which he said, like when we talk about emerging technologies, we already have existing technologies. Have we made the best use of that? Isn't it true that at the Thana level at least, most officers are still analyzing CDR in Excel spreadsheet and cross tabs? What is the reason for that? So things like this, they are the things which throw up my desire to. I'm also a programmer. It's my part-time job. In my part-time I do my programming. I've kept up with my skills. So I will just share with you some mantras about my own journey of development and how it has affected the policing in West Bengal. So one of the first things I realized a long time back is that information is power. You have to understand this, that information is the only power now. When we were much younger in service, when we used to go around to the police station for some investigating of some sensational crime, you would find there is a hanging wall chart of active criminal list, और वही सड़े गले उसमें 5, 6, 10 नाम उसमें going on and on for year after year, they will be there. Most of them irrelevant. And the Thanedar, OC, will take out a diary, which will be his personal diary, in which there will be the special notes about all the criminal networks that he knows about. And when the OC goes, the diary goes with him. So it is like power to him. He knows that makes him powerful, that makes him, people, his officers, his SP, they would like him to stay on in that post because he has that power. So, and when the new OC comes, he is at a loss. I mean, either he has to start from scratch or so these are the things kind of, in the scenario in which I've been working with technology for a long time, I would say. I think the first app I developed was back in 1994, but I will not go that far back. In 2015, I made something called, crime criminal search. So it also arose out of a problem. The problem was that a unique kind of rape cum dacoity had taken place, a very unique kind of, and there was it created some kind of a sensation also, and there was no information about modus operandi of similar criminals who may have committed similar crimes. So that was the time when I thought of I'll share a few screens with you in a short while. There should be a single repository of data. There should be a single repository where you can search for any kind of thing. You can search for simple things like modus operandi. You can search for a keyword. You can search for something like a person who attacks elderly people in their houses, anything. A person who commits rape at the time he's committing dacoity, things like that. And that's where this idea was born for making the CCS. I'll share the screen with you in a very short while after I finish speaking. In the last 7 years, it has helped in detection of thousands of cases. My SPs keep on informing me like how they detected some case with the help of that. So I think it has added value. So you see, nothing great has gone into it. All my learning has been from almost self-taught. I would say any of you can do it. Any of you can do that learning if you join certain courses, if you do some online courses. The idea is to start with a problem. You are faced with a problem and you want to solve it, and that's where you start thinking what can be done for this. So I basically made a web application. It's something like CCTNS, but slightly different. Like Pavan also mentioned this, that your mobile phone is going to be very handy. So your information has to be available to the IO at the spot, not when he comes back to the Thana. And it has to be available in a usable format. It has to be something which he can immediately find some leads. He can take out, probably if there's been a dacoity, it should be a bus dacoity, he should be able to take out a suspect gallery list on his phone and show it to the victims, see if anybody can identify them. It should have some kind of a face search feature so that if you can photograph a person and upload it, he gets a feedback immediately whether that person exists in the database. So things like this. So to make the officer smarter in his day-to-day work. That CCS was born, and then 2 years back I learned something new. I will come to this. I will end my talk with a few things which I feel all of you should take back with you. So one of those things which all of you should take back with you is graph theory. I think it will change the way you look at the world. All of us think of the world as tables, like Pavan talked about SQL. Yes, SQL has stood us in very good stead so far, but it's changing now. You can find out more about this. What are graphs? The world is actually graph. It's not tables. You have entities and you have connections. You have a criminal and there is a crime, and there is a connection between them. Between the crime and a place, there is a connection. All three of them are connected to a timestamp, I would say. So things like that. The crime itself is connected to certain categories. Murder with this kind of crime. It's connected to a modus operandi. So you see, the world is like a net. Now that a criminal may be connected to a mobile phone. So even that is a connection, that criminal being connected to a mobile phone. So once I made this CCS, I think I should start sharing my screen with you. I will come to this, what Pavan mentioned about missing found slightly later. I think I have about 10 minutes. This is the first thing. So the most important thing you need to see is this, that it has about 9 lakh criminal records and 8.5 lakh crime records. And something similar, something comparable number of photographs. I've not mentioned the photographs here, but a huge number of photographs. Okay, it went online in 2015 and it has survived, not because of any kind of diktat. Very often we force our officers to upload data. And the officers feel, hame kya mil raha hai? Why are we uploading data? So this is something which is not like that. This is something which officers have willingly taken to the, fish to the water. So you see, I have made a list of the officers. Just look at these officers. These are Thana level officers who have added like 5,000 photographs, 2,000 photographs. Can you imagine the effort they have put in? I made a list of the best contributors. So now this record is, I would say, democratized. When I spoke about the Thanedar who used to carry a pocket diary with himself, those days are gone. Any one of the 40,000 police personnel, 60,000 police personnel, even a constable who's probably given some extra responsibility to investigate a case, can get access to any kind of data. And the data is, I will not go very deep into that about the data. So, let me quickly get off with that. My takeaway points for you, you must understand data. If you want to make any kind of impact in your policing day to day, you must understand what is data and data analysis. You must understand graph, you must learn graph theory. That is something which very few people know. You must learn it. And I would say you must learn machine learning. If you have a grasp of these three things, you will make things. You must be a builder. You must make things. You must make things because the proof of the cake is in the eating. There's no point doing things just for kind of an academic kick. So let me start with this. For example, this is a basic criminal search. I can't think of a better way to visualize the criminal's crime record than by this graph. But this is not just about visualization, as I will show you. Okay, these yellow ones are all the cases. You click and you see the gist of the case, and these are all criminals. You click and you see certain more details, or you navigate to them. Okay, so you see their address and other things, or you navigate to them. But this is not all. Like this is the part of the visualization part. Now, can you imagine? Many of you are police officers. Can you imagine what is the benefit of having a criminal's entire criminal record in one place? Can you imagine the benefit? This is his network. You see there are about 30 or 40 blue dots here. Sorry, I should scroll up a little bit. Yeah. And so you see this is the entire criminal network, and the yellow ones are all the cases. So the moment this guy is arrested again, everybody immediately looks up all the cases in which he may have jumped bail. And this has come in handy so many times. People have searched on this. They have, people have used it in so many different ways. They have got a suspect number from a tower dump, number from a tower dump. They have seen the CDR. They have got certain names, and they have searched in the crime record, and they have seen the similar kind of criminal, a criminal who commits jewelry shop theft. There was a young IPS officer who made a presentation on this. Anyway. So, but this has much more than this. This person, Shamim Hussain, as you can see, this is his network. But there is a second layer of network, which a SQL database cannot give you. That is here. I can see in his second layer of network, there are more than 400 people. And gang formation is a dynamic thing. Shamim Hussain is not going to be stuck to these 30, 40 people all his life. He's going to jump. Day after tomorrow, he may find a friend through Rakesh Patlu and join up with that friend. So that's where this extended network comes. This is his entire extended network. And if I click on any one of them, I see how the network is forming, how the link is forming. Okay. So this is the power of graph theory. Let me show you how much it can, how deep this network can show you. This is the bank dacoit, and this is another bank dacoit. Why is he a bank dacoit? Because this is a 395, 397 case, and in a bank. Okay. And this guy is a bank dacoit. Why? Because again a bank, Muthoot Group, bank dacoity. And they are in a similar area because of the tower dump, it has been seen. So can they be ganging up? And who will be can you see this graph? Like it has drawn a thread from Ranjit to Kamaluddin, just like a thread weaving through. And see, Ranjit, I think you've understood the color codes. These yellow ones are the cases. Ranjit in this case with Muhammad Alam, in this case with Raja, in this, like this, on and on and on. Not only that, I can find a connection between a criminal and a police station, even if he has never committed a crime in that. Is he likely to commit a crime, and if so, with whom? So, it's like mind-boggling, the power behind this technology. So, this is helping the officers. I think I need to rush. So, like I told you, many times you will see a top-down approach. People make things, मेरे पास सारा डेटा सवेरे आ जाता है, एडीजी साहब के पास सारा डेटा आ जाता है पूरे जोन का. आप करते क्या हो? Any information which you don't act on is useless. If I'm getting a whole dashboard and I'm not acting on it, any information which you get and you don't act on it, which doesn't initiate an action, is useless. There's no point spending money on that. So, but in certain cases, I need, there's a concept of a dashboard. SP level officer also needs to have a dashboard. Something like a pilot, he has to keep on looking at a lot of things. So this is, for example, the dashboard for SPs. ये लाल दिखा रहा है ना, लाल because 15 हो गए इस साल, 12 हुए थे पिछले साल. Sorry, थाने में 15 हो गए इस साल, 12 पिछले साल, district 119 as compared to 89. So murder is rising, not only in the police station but in the district also. So this is the dashboard for the SPs. This is I think about 3-4 days last week's Delhi trip, and everybody in the state can see this. You can see what kind of crimes are being committed. कहाँ दिखता है ये सब? So you democratize information, make our officers powerful. Once a cop on the street is powerful, you'll have better policing. Okay, so I'll very quickly go through some of the other things. What Pawan said, for example, he mentioned CDR again and again. you should, all of us have to realize that our police headquarters, very often they get vendor driven. Vendors, they sell a certain software. And I think many of you are functioning police officers. How many times have you felt frustrated with something like C5 or some other software, I2 you may be using or anything? You want certain things. There was a case in which I want to see who are the three people who walked together all through the night, through the jungle. I have a lot of tower dumps, the entire tower dump of the location. Is there any kind of pattern of matching which three people walk together all the night? It can't give me. There are so many things as a police officer which comes out in social engineering. Like we understand how criminals behave. Software companies don't. They are very good at making software, but we have certain requirements. Will they cater to that? No, because they are like giant elephants. They are like monoliths. They are not likely to listen to you and give a update in the next week. So I made my own CDR software, and I believe it's better than C5. We have already detected cases with that. What did I do? I mean, the same thing, technology, graph theory. Graph theory is again very important. I would say if any of you, in the end, I'll share my certain details with you. And if any of you want to contact me, these are things in which I would like to collaborate with you. I am a learner, just like you. Many of the things, blockchain, for example, I'll come to that. That is something which I want to do. As Pawan also mentioned, we have to realize now that cyber crime is probably the only crime we need to pay our maximum attention to. Everything else is secondary now compared to that. And there is a huge implication of network theory in cyber crimes. The whole ecosystem of cyber crimes has a total graph structure. There are bank wallets, there are certain numbers from which calls are made, there are certain beneficiaries to which they are packaged and moved out, there are certain IP addresses, there are so many things. There are certain the blockchain, there are certain bit wallets from which are suspected. I recently attended a presentation in which a multinational company, they were selling their software for crores. And then, I was flabbergasted. We can make the same software. We can make the same software with, if you understand graph theory and machine learning. A little bit of machine learning to understand the suspected wallets, and graph theory to connect for the database. So all of you must take this back, that don't be driven by vendor thing. This is the best. This is definitely not the best, which is being given to us by the so-called vendors. Make your own things. Identify talent. We have a home guard. Home guard, he's paid something like 18,000. I was visiting a district, and to my amazement, he was, when you get a WhatsApp call, you want to get his IP address. WhatsApp take a long time to give you the IP address or his location. So many people don't use a number, with WhatsApp. If you have a number, you get the CDR anyway. But they use it through Wi-Fi. So this guy was sitting at this boy who earns 20,000 rupees a month. He was sitting in a police station, and he had applied Wireshark, and he was making a WhatsApp call to that number, and he was getting the IP address on the Wireshark, the packets he was returning the packets. Can you imagine a boy who's earning 20,000 rupees? Just imagine how many sub-inspectors, how many constables, how many inspectors, how many DSPs, and definitely a huge number of IPS officers are there in your respective states who can make a kind of a core group. They are the people who should make policies, identify the talent, involve them in the policy making, use them. So I think I would now come to what Pawan mentioned. I must cover that. Recently, this another problem. In Bengal, we saw that over a period of 3 years, there were 12,000 unidentified dead bodies. And can you guess how many remained unidentified after that 3 years period? 8,500. 8,500 out of 11,000 bodies remain unidentified. Did these people come from the moon to get killed on Earth? No. There is a huge problem in this process of identification, and you all know it. What is the problem? The problem is that nobody pays attention to missing report. Everybody gives that hue and cry report. Nobody pays attention to a dead body found report, UD case report. And even if you share, there is no mechanism for sharing photographs. So I thought this is the problem. Like I told you, it has to start with a problem, and I made this app. So this app is like this. Because Pawan mentioned, I'll just show this. So basically, police officers, they upload a report. They upload a new report, and the moment they upload, they get an instantaneous match. It uses machine learning as well as a facial recognition. Facial recognition is not exactly machine learning, but machine learning is something like, it keeps on training itself to get better and better. So you can search with certain keywords. There are, and in many different ways. You can search for a location, उसके आसपास में कोई घटना घटी हो, or otherwise, the moment you upload, if there's a match, you will get an immediate report. Okay. You can also search for, a lot of people said, like, my officers in the field, they give the feedback. Very often you have river deaths. They are very important. So you give a geographical area and you search for all the river deaths. It will show you the river deaths which have taken place. You see the details, see if any of them matches the person. These are deaths. So if any of them matches the person missing in your area, these are all river deaths. Okay. Then somebody mentioned about rail, a GRP, SRP. So I made this for the rails. These are all rail lines. If you zoom in, you can see, these are all rail lines. Rails are not visible on this layer. Or, for example, no, roads. Okay, this one is road, sorry. So I added for rails also, like, these are, very often the murder, they kill a body, they kill a person and dump him. So all these people, like 8,000 people, they are basically from either the neighboring police station or the neighboring district, and nobody has a clue. OCs don't even talk to each other about this. So most of it is dumping. Murder, take him on a highway and dump him after about 50 kilometers. And nobody will ever even connect the two. So all the road dumpings and even RTA cases, somebody has lost a person and he suspects there may be an RTA. So all these cases. And to our good fortune and God's grace, I think within 2 weeks of its launching, this is the first success. This gentleman was missing. This was a dead body in a railway accident, and there was absolutely no clue to either OC about this. My time is up as per my watch, and this app gave them a report, and the OCs contacted each other, and the family went and identified. Can you imagine the relief they must have got? It would have never been identified otherwise. We would have disposed of the body as unknown, and imagine the other benefits, the railway compensation. This was a railway accident. And the public is benefited. I have added a portal for public to upload their comments. The moment they upload their reports, the moment they upload a report, it goes straight to the OC's inbox. SMS is also generated. They start acting on it because they have their photograph of the missing person and telephone number, so they can start the tracking. And there was a very satisfied customer. There was a very satisfied person whose wife was found so proactively, and he gave this feedback. So I would, I should share a few things with you. I think I'll stop sharing, yes. And I will share in the chat. If any of you want, you can note down. There is no chat button. There is. Okay. First of all, my email ID. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this is correct. Number two, if you want to learn more about this app is, any of you want it, it's free of cost to you. Just contact me, I will give you the source code and you deploy it in your state. I am sure you'll be doing a great favor to your people. I've made it open source. And if you want to learn about this app, this is my YouTube channel, okay. These last 4 videos pertain to, this is the inaugural video, what is the feature, how to search along a river or a rail track or something, curated search, and other things are there. And if you want to learn more about what is my crime criminal search, this is a very long video, 1 घंटा 12 minute का है, but if you are interested, you can see that. What is crime criminal search? So I am copying this and putting it in the, this is the YouTube channel in which you can see any of this. So I think that more, what I'm working on now, if any of you are interested, you must contact me. Traffic accidents, for example, again it's a problem. Traffic, how do we bring down traffic accidents? So application of AI, you have to apply AI. Around 10 years back, all of us understood about black spots. What is a black spot? It's basically a clustering. It's called clustering in technical terms, clustering of geographical area. Clustering meaning a small area in which the incidents are reported. But there are other clusters. An accident has many features. One feature is, for example, time of day. So there may be time of day clusters, there may be day of the week clusters, there may be annual cycles, day of the year clusters, many kinds of things. So I have started exploring that now. There may be vehicle type, urban road, rural road, many kinds of clusters. it's a multi-dimensional thing, and I will apply AI, and I'm hopeful that we'll find ways to better utilize. What do we do about it? So we better utilize our manpower, resources. Our duty deployment of 8-hour shifts, that may not be necessary. I think may need to focus on certain hours and certain traffic interventions that we can do. Now, so this is one thing in which I would like to work on, traffic accident analysis. Number two, one of the points which was there in your agenda I saw was use of AI in investigation. Now, it's a very important, very promising field, use of AI in investigation. If you have a case and you have charge sheeted, theoretically it should be possible to predict whether that case will end in charge sheet or whether it will charge sheet, whether it will end in conviction or whether it will end in acquittal, theoretically, given certain features of the case. It's all about features. So once you know the cases which have a good future, then you focus on them. You do the trial monitoring, you ensure that the witnesses don't go bad, and things like a lot of things. We all do case trial monitoring, but then we do it blindly. So that could be one possible use of AI and I'm exploring it. I've not started work on that, but I'm exploring it, and I'm sure it's doable. So please do doable things, things which you can do with very little effort and which can give you results. So with that, I would end my speech, and thank you once again, Pawan, for inviting me to this very prestigious convention. Thank you.